Now we are going into our belated Franchise Friday episode. So we decided to go in a little different direction than what we typically do. We're going to do a little bit of a smaller episode. We're just going to talk about a game we've been playing a lot lately. Not a lot of substance to the game, but we just felt like we could talk about a lot of the concepts that came out of this game and a lot of different understandings we've learned about the gaming community and overall just this game in itself and its mechanics. The game we're going to be talking about today is Rocket League. So, on that, obviously, like I just mentioned, we've been playing this quite a bit lately, and we've talked several times. We kind of threw tidbits in about the community and our disdain for some of the way these people choose to act. And don't get me wrong, it can be humorous. Just to give a brief explanation for, I don't know how you haven't heard of Rocket League, but if you haven't, essentially it is you drive around with cars and you try to score goals. It's essentially soccer, but with cars. And that's just the base principle of it.
Yeah. It's a simple game when you think about it, but kind of as we were talking before we jumped into this, it's one of those ones that it's become more and more complicated, especially as you progress your rank and stuff like that. If you're just jumping into it at like a bronze, silver level, it's pretty cut and dry. Hit the ball with your car and hope it goes to the net. there's not a whole lot of tricks or playing the wall to the ceiling or strategy. Yeah, like rotations, and there's a lot of bumping into each other and double and triple committing and not being on the same page. But yeah, as you progress, and we're at like the platinum level, and last season we were at gold, so
yeah,
hopefully
we're just tickling diamonds. We're tickling diamonds balls right now. We're almost there. We're like right there on the edge.
Yeah,
and hopefully once we get that breakthrough, we'll be well on our way to champion. So hopefully, as we get into this, we'll start from the base, like you were talking about. We'll start from the bronze concept. Like you just said, it's literally there's a lot of things of you just move your car forward, you hit the ball, you just send it towards the goal. Hopefully at that level, people are starting to understand the concept of defense, stop the ball, and that's bronze for you. Silver is bronze is more like you maybe hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like bronze is like, okay, I hit the ball, I get a gold sticker for today. Like that's like a little gold star. You put it on your little binder or whatever the fuck you have. But that's what bronze is. Bronze is literally where all the either very, very brand new players are or the people who just don't understand the concept of video games stay. Or there's another concept in Rocket League called Smurfs, who are people who like to essentially destroy your enjoyment in the game. They're very skilled players, usually sit from plat to champ level, who keep themselves intentionally low level to beat up on new players.
Mm-hmm. That's been fun, kind of running into them, just kind of seeing how, and even we playing in competitive. There's a rank system, and then playing in the casual mode, it's more of the fun, but there's still a rank system to it. That's where you see those Smurfs a lot, is because they'll literally go up 8-0 on you, and with 30 seconds left, they back out, so they take it as a loss.
Yep.
So that their rank doesn't go up, and then they go into the next lobby and just shit on people, and then right before they win, back out. And then, so it's just, which I don't understand how, yeah, it's a trolling moment, and because obviously you know what you're doing, but at the same time, I don't see how you get better. You know what I mean? You when you're playing against people and you touch the ball 50 times and you've only allowed them to touch it twice. You're not working on your defense. You're not working on your counters. You're not yeah, fine. You can just take control of the ball and nobody's going to touch you. But guess what? I can go into training and do that by myself too. It's the exact same thing. I'm out playing against somebody who's a bronze level and playing against nobody in training. They're pretty much the same. You're going to basically do whatever you want to do against them.
Well, and you even see this in Call of Duty too. People will intentionally sit there. I know this was an issue in Black Ops. I haven't, or the Cold War, pardon. I haven't played it yet, but I heard this was going on, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there were players who were mass killing themselves to drive, because the way it works is you're paired with people about your skill level. So people would sit there and they'd drive their skill level down so that they could sit there and try to pull off trick shots for videos and stuff on players who were of a less balanced skill level, which is stupid, in my opinion. You're stupid. Why are you doing that? Like,
Yeah.
just get good enough to where you can do it at your level. Get better. And I know there's a lot of Rocket League players who've played this game for years. This game has been out for years. It recently became free. So there's been a mass surge of players coming back in, new players coming in, and it definitely changes the overall feel of the game. And another thing about this, though, is I know these guys get bored, whatever, or you get stuck, you plateau, you hit where your peak is. You can't break through that next level of player. I've seen it. We've been in it. That's why, obviously, we're stuck as we're trying to progress, or maybe just a teammate who just fails us, or we just fail ourselves. And there's those situations that happen. But instead of going and trying to do this Smurf concept and beating up on lower level players or lower skilled players, just start building yourself up and keep working towards yourself. If you're like grand champ, like the best player in the fucking world, and you just like to beat up on people, there's not much I can say to you. You've already peaked, and you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. And you can be like, "Oh, I'm a better player." Don't care, but
Yeah.
like, well, it doesn't matter to me. I play for my own fun, and you may beat me one day, but guess what? It's not going to stop me from getting to the point where I know I'll beat you.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you're talking about that as far as like that, just kind of that confidence of, oh, I'm a better player than you, or whatever it might be. And I think it's funny how that kind of ties into just like the community and like the toxicness of like Rocket League players. And I think what kind of is the most frustrating and what causes the most, I guess, chaos in like a game chat or getting people to message you after the game because they're just salty is like that trash talk of like somebody being like, "Oh, you're trash," but then it's like you're playing competitive, so it's like, dude, we're the same rank.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like that's where like that. I mean, for like an example, it's like in the NFL, it's two teams they're both 2-10, and one's winning 28-0, and then like they're like, "Oh, you guys are trash." It's like, yeah, no, we're both trash. Like, you know what
exactly.
I mean?
Like,
It's like,
but then
or
And
go
then
ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say there's even a bigger concept on that too, though, because they're still in the NFL. They're still better than anyone who's never made it to the NFL. So you may call me trash if we're both sitting at platinum level, but there's still a bronze guy out there who's thinking, "Wow, that guy's pretty good." So it's like your perspective does not mean shit to me.
No,
Only my own individual growth means something to me.
exactly, and that's why it's like the important thing is to just shrug those moments off as much as you can, and sometimes it gets more out of hand than you want it to be, and you end up like in the game chat just going back and forth at each other, and it's whatever. But then you go to the next game and you move on, and hopefully it's. And the sad part is too is a lot of times it's probably like 50-50, honestly, whether it's people on the other team or your own teammate that like you're trash talking. Obviously, if we're playing like standard and it's you and I and somebody we know playing, it's like obviously if there's any trash talking going on, it's with the other team. But it's whenever we pick up a random and we're playing like Rumble or yeah, really we never really play standard with like another person. It's more or less Rumble. And you get those people that are just like, "Oh, teammate, you're trash." And then you pull up the scoreboard and they have like 10 points and you have like 600 and it's like, "What?"
Yeah.
So it's just like at that point they obviously know like they're at a loss. They're not contributing in any way. So it's just a matter of the ship's going down. Take as many people with you as you can,
Exactly.
kind of thing.
And it's like instead of doing that, just continue to play. Like I'll see people sit there and freeze up in a game. They won't even move anymore. It's like, dude, just play the game out. Just play it out. Or if we're gonna all mutually agree to forfeit the match because we're just done with it, or even like it's a stressful situation because it's almost like carrying other players is annoying to me, especially if we get a random like he has like 20 points on the board and then you and me both collectively have like 600 to 800. It's like clearly that's just, dude, you did nothing. Yeah, I think it should be a point-based way your ranking structure works. I think it's if you've put in the work and the effort, that should count something towards that rank structure, even if you lose.
Yeah.
There'd be some benefit to that because it shows that you're actually actively doing something on your team.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, especially because of the fact that you and I have carried both Austin and Lake to a platinum rank, when truthfully Lake is like a high bronze, low silver, and Austin is like a high silver, low gold. But they're
Exactly.
both. But we carried both of them to like uh, we carried both of them to platinum, and then now we're playing with them, and then now we're playing against other people who are really good, and then we have a lot of those games where like you and I have a couple hundred points apiece, and it's like, oh shit, he's got like 20 points.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, our friends improve, they get better, but their getting better is hurting us. And so when you do that, and that was our choice, we chose to play with them. We didn't expect to carry them that far. I never expected it to become that. And that's fine. And that's one of the whole rank system needs to be redone in Rocket League because we've gone on like 5 to 8 win streaks and maybe move up a rank. You lose 2 matches, you're down 3. It's so confusing. I don't understand the rank structure. Maybe I gotta do some more research on it to understand it. Maybe there's some underlying thing there that I'm not seeing. But overall, it's like we shouldn't be able to go on such a win streak only to lose 1 match and get set back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, fuck. Cause yeah, like you said, there's been that's I completely forgot about how fucked the rank structure is on there. Because there's been so many times that like I've won 3, 4 in a row, and you don't go up, and then the second you lose one, you drop one. So it'd be like win, 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 win. No, don't go up. Lost. Oh, dropped. It's like what?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so yeah,
Oh, it's such a hard.
it's such a yeah, it's one of those things that's super inconsistent because you could lose 2 games in a row and go down 2 ranks. You win one, you go up a rank. It might be 2 games before you rank up again. It might be the next. It might be 4. So it's just for whatever reason and I feel like they changed it since they made it free because I've noticed that it's been frustrating that as soon as they made the game free, we both kind of had that mindset of it'll be a little easier for us to rank up. We're going to be playing as people inexperienced, and it's been exactly the opposite. We kind of plateaued at our rank,
Yeah.
and we keep playing harder and harder people. It's like there's no way in hell all these new people just caught on that fast. And obviously, some of them have, especially if they're on PC where they can have binds that literally give them an advantage to make contact with a ball or quick flip around on a 180 before we can because we're on a controller. But
Well,
like
have you
that,
even seen the online training things you can do? Their training is so much more expansive online
oh
than it
yeah,
is.
how there's like hoops that they can like fly through
Yeah,
and like I don't understand how they get access to that and we don't. But
yeah, and it clearly sets apart obviously console versus PC gamers in that game. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's always going to be like a skew one way or another. I know I've seen some popular streamers I won't name that bitch about things on console which make no sense to bitch about for different games. And it goes both ways. I hear complaints about certain games, so I won't even make that a big issue. But the idea is this, that yes, we had that mass surge of people come in, but the thing is, that's when it brought back a lot of the community that gave up on being toxic, and because it was just people who started becoming more experienced. And now this new wave of players coming in obviously brought back a lot of that trolling community. And Rocket League's one of those games where I don't hate trolling. I don't. I don't. It's such a simple game. I'm not going to get mad. But when you sit there and you drive it too far to a point, and we just talked about this, it's like if you bring it too far, it's like, dude, you need to check yourself. You're playing car soccer right now. You're not doing anything great for the world. You're playing a game where you're hitting a soccer ball. And, like, you really do not need to act like you have such a big chip on your shoulder about it. And,
mm-hmm.
like, I'll even applaud dudes. When I see them do something crazy that it looks like they deliberately did, I'm like, wow, that was insane. Like, I don't know how they did that. I hope I can learn to do that. And I just train. I train to learn and be better. And there is that whole concept of first game versus mid, like, sixth game of playing. Like, obviously there's warming up, and we both do training before we jump in, but still there's like, you don't know what to expect for your first game. You could get the sweatiest guys in the world, or you could get some dudes who straight up are potatoes, like,
Mm-hmm.
and they just lull around. And don't get me wrong, Rocket League is a fantastic game. It's very fun. We're just covering the hang-ups, so just people know what they are going into when they play it. If they haven't played it yet, since we said it is free, I encourage you to download it, check it out, give it a try. Don't let those people that are doing these things like smurfing deter you. Just keep going, keep training, get better. It's awesome to see people who are supportive in the community, and you can meet a lot of fun people through that game. It's just you just got to kind of filter through it because there is a lot of toxicity there.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
So in terms of training, like a couple things you want to start getting down, I'd say bronze level, focus on your communication is definitely key. Communication is key to almost everything in life. Just learn, if you're going to be playing with friends, learn how to convey what you're doing to your team. Be like, look, I see the ball. I see a clear line of sight. I'm going to go for it. I think I have a shot. As you slowly progress to the bronze and you start to learn to hit the ball more accurately, getting into silver, start working on things that are out of your comfort zone. Maybe doing corner shots that you don't typically go for, or doing just something along the lines of like your aerial control. And then you're not really doing aerials too much at silver for the most part from what I've seen. Once you get into gold is where it starts to get like you want to start implementing aerials. Aerials is essentially you're just jumping in the air, you're using your rocket boost that you get that causes you to go faster, and you're using that to fly through the air, and you're controlling your car to hit the ball. And obviously that's where a lot of plays are made as you progress into the ranks, because it creates opportunity because it's not as easy for someone to block you in the air. So as you're in gold, work on that. Work on just understanding the fundamentals of your aerials and start implementing in rotations heavier. Start understanding that you need someone back. You need to have someone back because if that ball slips by you, because especially at this level, you're not going to hit everything. And that's just one thing you got to accept. Unless you're just that good, and I don't know why you're still in gold. Maybe you just play with the worst people in the world and you just hit every ball in the world and they're always dead point accurate. I don't know. But learn different vehicles too. I know they all have very similar hitboxes, but they all feel like they handle differently. I recommend the Octane. It's kind of the base car most people use. It's well-rounded overall. There's people who prefer different vehicles, though. There's people who play with the fucking Scarab, which is this tiny little shitmobile. I don't know how they use it. And then there's people who use the Fortnite bus. And there's just different little things you'll start to notice with each vehicle as you progress and you start to understand the mechanics of the game, how hitting the ball is impacted differently by what part of your car you hit it with. So obviously, like, if you're going to hit it with the side of your car, it's not going to go as fast as, say, hitting it with the front of your car. And also using your boost at the right moment can accelerate that shot. And then there's other concepts at gold you want to start focusing on too, like dribbling. So dribbling is essentially perfection, like it's ball control movement on the ground and learning how to move the ball around the other team and how to fool them. Essentially, it's like a juke. You're juking people out, you're faking them out, you're moving the ball in ways that they aren't anticipating, and you're even baiting them. You want to learn how to bait people. And like it, one of the biggest things I will emphasize is learn to read. Once you're going from gold into platinum, learn to read where people are setting themselves up. Look at things not so much isolated as I'm this car, I'm looking at this ball. Look at where's my teammate at? Can I pass the ball back to them? And one thing to get away from, don't reverse unless you absolutely need to, or it's definitely going to be like life or death situation. Do not back up. Do not reverse your car. There's tricks and methods you can learn to turn your car around quicker than reversing. And then as you're in this platinum level, just learn, like I was saying, learn to read the overall map or your arena and see what the other team is doing. Are they playing ultra aggressive? Are they double committing, triple committing? Are they keeping a strong defense? Are they all goaltending? Like just concepts like that. Learn to understand those and just learn how to play against these different team setups and strategies and learn how to counter strategy.
One thing with kind of with gold, and once you get into platinum too, one important thing to a concept of the game is kickoffs. So at the beginning of every game, you have a kickoff, and then after every score, there's a kickoff. And one important thing to kind of get used to, just keep consistency throughout your game, is a lot of times, especially if you're playing with teammates, if you're playing by yourself, this doesn't mean anything. But the left person always goes. That's something like you always get used to, and it's just kind of a cardinal rule of Rocket League is always having the left person go. That way, you're not in the chat saying, "Oh, I got it," or "I'm defending," or "You go," or whatever. Because otherwise, there's a lot of times you see there's no communication in the chat, and you're playing against all three people who aren't on in a party together, and then either none of them go or they all turn and go away from the ball, and then it gives you a free goal. But anyway, one thing with kind of getting into the gold and platinum level, like obviously bronze through silver, it's just a matter of making contact with the ball on kickoffs. But once you get into like the gold and platinum kind of realm, you start to focus more on where you're going to throw it, because then you start to get that communication down with your teammates. You know where they are a lot, based on a kickoff. If like I'm coming from the right and my teammates to the left, be like, all right, I'm gonna try to throw it left. That way they're midline and they're putting the ball on their side before the other team can even have a chance to touch the ball. So it's just little stuff like that on kickoffs that, I mean, it's always stuff to work on, and depending on how the other team approaches the ball on kickoffs, there's like a corkscrew jump way to like approach the ball, which gives you a boost rather than just regular boosting. So they get to the ball before you, so then basically at that point you're just playing defense and you want to jump and block it every time, otherwise it's going to go over your head. So it's a lot of little things with the game. Obviously, as you're in the small like bronze silver rank, just focus on your ball, on hitting the ball and just keeping it off of your side. And kind of one thing I focused on a lot is my defense, just because I know playing with you, you like to play more offensively, more aggressively, and that's kind of a good tandem as far as like when we play duos, is because you're good at like going down in a 2v1 situation, skirting past one guy, throwing it over the other, and hitting it in. And then a lot of times defensively, I'm good at quick getting up, blocking it, or just clearing it completely. So it's a good balance that we have with our team, and that it depends a lot on who you play with as well. Sometimes playing with your friends isn't the best way to go, because guess what? If there's three of you and all of you are super aggressive and like to push the ball and be on offense, you're probably not going to work well together, because there's going to be a lot of moments that either you're triple committing or you're maybe up a goal or two in a late situation. So you do try to play defense, but you don't know how to play defense very well, so you start giving up easy goals. So it's just like, it's always important to have that balance on your team of guys who are defensive, guys who like to play midline and just catch balls. I see on some teams, there's literally a guy who just hangs around midline, and anytime a ball gets launched, like they try to clear it, all they do is go straight up and stop it to basically force the ball to stalemate. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to play the game, and obviously depending on if you're just playing for fun, you could really have it all over the place on your skill level with your friends. And if you're playing casual, that's probably the one that you could get away with all being super aggressive, because the games don't mean anything. They're not ranked. But if you are going to get into ranked, you have to realize who your teammates are and how you're structuring your team and how you're going to play it. So,
and then just to get into it too, there's different game modes you can play in Rocket League as well. One we've discussed briefly was Rumble. There's different power-ups and abilities you get. Rumble's very fun. It's kind of like this foil for like if you're getting too stressed playing trios or duos. You can hop into Rumble. Rumble is ranked, but you also, I mean, there's some people who genuinely care about their rank in Rumble. But if you're just looking to have a good time and not rely too much on skill or learning to adapt your skill into these abilities, that's another avenue you can go. There's different things you can do. There's plungers, there's freezes, there's boosts that you can give to the other team strategically to mess them up. And there's another game mode called Hoops where you can, it's essentially basketball versus playing soccer. And then there's also hockey, and then there is this one called Drop. I don't know. I don't play that one. It's a different form of the game. There's so much you can do that's packed into Rocket League, and especially since it's a free game now, I definitely encourage you guys to check it out. I don't feel like there's really too much more to be said that you won't experience yourself. We just encourage you to get out there, go play, and continue to grow as a gamer.
for sure. Yeah, it's one of those games that, again, because it's free, it's easy to just have on your console. It's not a Call of Duty or a game with a huge campaign that's going to take up a shit ton of gigabytes on your console or your PC. I don't think it's 20 gigs. I think it's like 10 to 15 gigs, honestly. It might even be less than that. I have no idea. But it's a relatively small game. there's a season pass, so there's always ways to upgrade your car, and they're all just aesthetic. They're cosmetic stuff. They don't really give you an advantage to anything. I guess the only like thing with upgrading your car that would give you an advantage is some of the boost trails. Like if you have one that's like super big and smoky, that could kind of deter. If there's a guy behind you and you're throwing smoke in his face, like obviously that can be disorienting. But aside from that, it's not really like a Call of Duty or anything. We're having purple tracer rounds or a ghillie suit or whatever. There's a handful of things that give you an advantage on that, like other games. But Rocket League is that one where you could literally play with the base car and not put a topper on it or change your wheels, nothing, and you could be the best player in the world. So it's just all about really what you want to get out of it.
Oh, exactly. And it's just one of those games, like if you're not trying to jump into something too complicated, or even if you want it to become complicated, you can. It's very well rounded, and overall, like if you're looking to just listen to music, that's one thing I love about Rocket League. You can listen to music while you play it. There's not like, whereas I'm playing Call of Duty, obviously I have my headset jacked up volume wise because footsteps are, one of the defining things we've talked about in our first person versus third person perspective video is the audio really plays big into first person shooters. And with Rocket League, you really don't got to worry about that. One thing I will encourage you guys to learn to do too is your ball camera. Learn how to use it appropriately so that you know where the ball is consistently at all times. Otherwise, you might get caught in situations, especially at lower levels, where you're going away to go get some boost or something, and the ball is going right for your goal, and you are not even aware because you're too locked in on that boost. You're not keeping an eye on the ball. So just every once in a while, it's why for me, I'm sure that's what it is for everyone on Xbox. You just alternate it and that's another cool thing. You can change your bindings. I have my controller custom set up to a certain way that I like to play, and I'm sure you have yours set up a way you like to play. And that's the thing. It definitely is a game that caters to the gamer itself themselves. There's definitely different things you can do, change your field of view, and little minor tweaks here to just overall get a better play out of the game in its entirety. And it's honestly, I definitely encourage it despite the toxicity that exists in the community, despite some of the stress that can come with playing and some of the things that because I find myself calling bullshit on a lot of things that probably weren't bullshit. It could have been a leg spike, something along those lines, or it could have literally just been an inadequate skill moment. But there are things that you'll see that will upset you, but ultimately you just got to roll with the punches because then, the next day you may be that guy who's doing that to someone else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Ugh.
I feel like that covers Rocket League pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah. We ended up covering more points than I thought because I kind of forgot about a few with like as far as the just kind of going through the rank structure and stuff and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's kind of just a short episode diving into Rocket League. It's a game, again, that we both play regularly, so it's definitely one that we just want to talk about, bring awareness to, and encourage people to play. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like we'll do a lot of these as we progress our Franchise Fridays. They're going to continue to expand. There's going to be a lot more knowledge-based ones, things along the lines of Elder Scrolls, and some of these games that just have more depth to them. And we'll definitely do a full breakdown of concepts, lore, the mechanics of the game. But we just figured just doing this one just to kind of touch on the idea, the simpler games aren't so bad either. Sometimes it's just fun to jump into something that doesn't have to be complicated if you don't want it to be.
For sure.
All right.
Well, amen, brother.
All right. With that, come. Yeah, there it is. We'll talk about that in a future non-gaming episode.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, too many ideas to come to fruition.
Oh my gosh, man! After we do all these videos, we're gonna be like, man, those guys are fucking weirdos. They're not wrong, but everyone's gonna think it. Yeah. But yeah, no. Yep. So just stay tuned. More content coming your way. For people who watch, we love it. Thank you for taking the time to watch our videos. All right. Beautiful. Well, with that, signing off.
All right. See ya.